Hello everyone. In the present video, I will discuss about the G.H. Mead's concept of self. In the previous videos on G.H. Mead, I have discussed about his idea of mind and society. So the present discussion will be the continuation of that. So let's begin. How can we understand self? What is self exactly? According to G.H. Mead, self is an individual identity. Self makes the human beings different from animals. Individuals have the self, and that is why each and every individuals are different from each other. Each and every individual distinct from each other because of the self. Since a self is not something which is pre-given. Self is not something which is biologically given. Rather, self is developed in the society. Physical structure or physical body is not self. According to G.H. Mead, physical structure or physical body is not self. Self is an identity. Self is an attitude, expression of the reaction, and taking the attitude of others towards one's own self. So, self we have to understand in the context of society. Again, self is related to mind. Mind and self are interrelated, interconnected, or inseparable part according to G.H. Mead. We cannot separate mind from the self. So, mind and self are ultimately the processes that developed in the individual in the context of the society. So this development of self is actually the formation of the individual identity, and in this formation of individual identity, the distinctiveness or distinct attributes, distinct features of the individual develops. So if we try to understand self in the individual's personality, then we can easily trace some of the features, some of the appearances, some of the behavioral reactions. So it is not something which is physically framed. Self is not something physically framed or biologically framed. It is developed. So one individual has self. When we say an individual has self, because this individual can express, can show his or her attitude, can give reactions, can take the attitude of others towards him or her, can also take the role of others, can understand what other thinks of him. So because of all these processes, a person's identity is formed, and this person's identity is person's self. So it is a very abstract process. Now, how the self is related to the mind? Mind, we have already discussed, is a process, a mechanism in the society. It is developed over the period of time in the individual, and individual adapts into the society. Individual imparts the social structure or social system through the mental mechanism. G.H. Mead mentioned about the symbol. Symbol is one kind of gesture. Symbol individual uses as a kind of gesture, and gesture be it symbolic gesture, be it a symbolic gesture or the verbal gesture, comes out from the mental mechanism, mental process. So this mental process is individuals' behavioral or reactive expressions. So individual expresses or reacts or behaves or acts in a particular situation, in a particular condition, is because of the mental mechanism. And this mental mechanism is distinct for this individual because of the self. These particular reactions, this particular behavior, this particular act of individual are different from another individual. In the same situations, two individuals may have two different kinds of reactions. In a situation of anxiety, in a situation of social tension, many individuals may be there. But the reactions of each and every individual may be different. Act and behavior of each and every individual may be different from each other. So this mental mechanism which works in their behavior, act, reactions, but it makes one distinct from another through by self. Self makes one individual distinct from another. So ultimately we got that self and mind are interconnected, inseparable part. Self makes a person social being. He or she becomes the social animal and social being because of the mind and self. Once this self develops, mental processes develops, then he or she becomes the member of the society or becomes the social animal or social being. In this context, we can say the society is something which is externally determining individuals' development of self and development of mental mechanism. But as far as symbolic interactionism of G.H. Mead is concerned, individual's mind has the capacity to create and construct the society again. So it is the dual process. Individual creates, again the society also determines individual's behavior. So we can say that this mind and self, these are developed in the society, and again this society is the creation of individuals' mind and individuals' expression of self. And that is the reason why society is not static. It is a dynamic process. So self and mind makes the individual social animal and social being. So G.H. Mead's idea of self has to be understood in the context of society. So this much is the present discussion. What is self? In the next video, I will discuss about his idea of self, I and me. So please be connected. Thank you very much.